Part 3 is a look at 5S. 5S is a strategy for organizing the shop floor, but it could be used for organizing an office, a garage, a house, any place really. It comes from 5 Japanese words, and then there's some English words that have been found that are similar. Siri, or sort, is tidiness, that's clearing out anything that's not needed. Seaton is set in order or straighten. That's organize things, everything in its place. Sisu, or shine or sweep, that's scrubbing, painting, getting rid of leaks. Sekitsu is standardize. That's your organization for maintaining the first 3. And Shitsuki is your discipline to keep everything going in 5S without reverting back to your old ways. Some companies have used 5S as their lean strategy. And I'm sure it's helpful, but it's not a lean strategy all by itself. Let's look at sort with a little deeper. One strategy for getting a place cleaned up is a red tag strategy, and that's where you go through with a bunch of tags and you tag everything that is junk, that's redundant, or it's old. And if you need to, you can have a time when you're going to evaluate things to decide if you're going to keep them or not. But what it does is it gives you a chance to go through and methodically clear a place out. Sometimes it's very difficult to clear out clutter because you don't really have a method for deciding what really needs to be kept and what really should be eliminated. So you only leave what you need, and once you do this, you eliminate some workflow problems, and you probably will increase quality and productivity, if not people's attitudes, somewhat right off the bat. Here's an example of an area that needs to be decluttered. I think, unfortunately, we can all think of places that are like this, where we have extra stuff, and really it's not helping at all. The second pillar is set in order. This is arranging things so they're easy to find, use, and put away. This assists us in keeping track of things, which could be a clerical issue. And also, if we can sort things into appropriate groups, sometimes that helps us stay organized as well and makes things more efficient. We need to decide where to locate tools or materials at the point of use. They may be needed for multiple locations, so we have to maybe compromise on a location so that it's available for multiple use. We have to consider frequency of use, how easy it is to pick up and return things, and then also safety and ergonomics. We want to be able to read things, reach things. We don't want to have to lift things that are too heavy. So when we're deciding where to put something, we need to take into account what it could mean from an ergonomic point of view. So here's an example of parts set in place. We have drawers that are labeled very clearly what they are, with the items inside, no other mixed stock in there. Makes it real easy to find things and keep track of how many we have. Here's an example of tools set in place where there are cutouts for the tools that are needed for the job. This eliminates searching, makes it easy to see what's missing, and it encourages neatness and efficiency. Like I said earlier, you can eliminate toolboxes this way, and also a lot of hunting and searching for tools. The next topic is shine. It's not just cleaning and sweeping, it's also painting things that are old, cleaning light fixtures, cleaning the ceilings, the overhead, the floors maybe even. Basically, you want to make everything look really nice and neat and clean. Safety equipment in good working order. The place would be decluttered also from one of the previous S's. And then you want to make sure you have something in place to keep it clean. But I remember when I worked at General Motors, one time we had a major changeover and we were down for about 11 months. Before the changeover, because we were an old plant, we had old woodblock floors. The walls hadn't been painted in a long time. I don't know if the overhead had been painted in anybody's memory. But during that 11 months, we went through and we did exactly this. Painted the floors, the walls, the overhead, cleaned everything up, identified where things were supposed to be, and made it clear what was supposed to be there. And then when the people came back after a model changeover, it was like a transformation. There was a huge effort to make sure that we maintained that cleanliness, and we really did. It raised the level of attitude quite a bit. And I remember after they closed our plant down, one of the foremen that had transferred to another plant, I went there to do a consulting job and I was talking to him. And in the plant he was in, his area was all clean, but the other areas around weren't. So I asked him about it. And he said that after he had gone from a unhouse-kept place to a strong housekeeping environment, he said he would never go back. It made a world of difference in quality, attitudes, productivity, and everything. So that's a long way of saying that perhaps cleaning up an area, getting it organized, could go a long way toward changing the culture in your situation or in some other situations you know about. So here are a few pictures, examples of work areas that have been cleaned up and kept clean. And this is what I was referring to in the last slide. This is kind of what we looked like after our model changeover and after painting the place and fixing it up. It sure was a nicer place to work. Standardize refers to setting up your policies and procedures for maintaining the first three pillars. This could include cleaning schedules or standards for how to clean. It could include maintenance schedules. Could also include procedures for setting up machines so that it stays clean and neat. Also, there can be check sheets for auditing and making sure that things are kept clean and put away. But anyway, it's important that the area doesn't return to its former state of clutter. Visual controls are ways of communicating what is supposed to be in a particular location and how many there's supposed to be, and or what's the standard procedure for doing something. So there's a number of ways that can be done. It can be done with color coding. It could be done with Kanban cards, lines on the floor, pictures above cubby holes. There's lots of different ways to do it. But we need to take the effort to make sure that people know what's supposed to be where and that there's a procedure for ensuring that it will happen. Sustain is the process for maintaining the 5S accomplishments. Management needs to be involved, and employee involvement would probably help a company to develop procedures that would work in sustaining 5S. Overall, though, people need to develop new habits, new skills, get ongoing communication about how things are going, and also have some kind of reporting or measuring on how things are going so that you know what the results are. Let's finish up with a few other issues. I think I made a big point already about how helpful it is to employee attitudes and quality and productivity if people have a nice place to work, it's well organized, it's clean. I think it makes a big difference. Another issue related to 5S is that this is probably one of the first stages of the transformation. In most cases, people implement 5S right away. First of all, they need it. Second of all, it's simple, at least on the surface, but you get immediate results. Should point out again that 5S is a tool, not a program. But be careful that it's not implemented without some appropriate levels of support. You need some training, employee involvement, and follow-up in order to make it work, in order to sustain it.